All right, all right. John, 2nd chapter, beginning in verse 1. When you get it, say, still saved.
Still saved.
All right, let me read this, and then you will follow. Verse 1, on the third day, a wedding took place at Cana in Galilee. Jesus' mother was there, and Jesus and his disciples had also been invited to the wedding. When the wine was gone, Jesus' mother said to him, "They have no more wine." "Woman, why do you involve me? My hour has not yet come." His mother said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." Nearby stood 6 stone water jars, the kind used by the Jews for ceremonial washing, each holding from 20 to 30 gallons. Jesus said to the servants, "Fill the jars with water," so they filled them to the brim. Then he told them, "Now draw some out and take it to the master of the banquet." They did so. And the master of the banquet tasted the water that had been turned into wine. He did not realize where it had come from, though the servants who had drawn the water knew. Then he called the bridegroom aside and said, "Everyone brings out the choice wine first, and then the cheaper wine after the guests have had too much to drink. But you have saved the best till now." What Jesus did here in Cana of Galilee was the first of the signs through which he revealed his glory, and his disciples believed in him. Amen. Lord, add a blessing to the reading and to the hearing of his holy word. Our Mother's Day theme is she's always there. She's always there. Let me be clear that the difficulty of preaching this scripture, a lot of my young up-and-coming folks have liked to see this scripture simply because of how much they talk about wine. Amen. And they like a Bible that's talking about wine. And not just wine, but the choice wine, then the cheaper wine, and then the best wine. Amen. And then it has been used, quietly kept, to be able to convince parents that, look, even Jesus' mother wanted him to drink some wine, so surely I should be able to drink too. Amen? So it has been challenging in the context, but rarely do we look at it from the view of a mother and her responsibility in this scripture. So as sometimes comical or over spiritual role we can take, the mother at times get lost in the beauty of this 2nd chapter of John. Let me be clear. Reverend had just asked how long had my mother passed, and my mother passed 2016. Let me confirm, 2016? Amen. It feels like August of 2016. It feels like yesterday. And so I'm on this push to keep remembering everything about her so I don't forget her. And so that's why a lot of times you hear me talk about her, because I think so much about her. And I never truly could even conceive of a life without my mother. Amen. Amen. So I share the experience here because there are those of you who met her when she came here. And as nice and a quiet lady as she seems, her children see a different side of this. Along with my cousins and such. Let me give you this story here to lead into this. My first legal job was I was a JAG officer with the United States Navy. So that's how I got to Seattle. My first duty station was Bremerton, Washington. I went from Bremerton to Everett. And so I was, being a naval officer, we go to these formal dinners, and when you're in your dress uniform, and you have to be careful because they can turn into offensive drinking festivals. And there was, I remember being at one where, and I never felt the comfort level in them simply because I was obviously in the minority. And always you have to be careful of what happens in these kinds of festivals. And so one such one, the drinking had got to a point to where they looked at me and said, "George, why don't you get up and dance for us?" Now y'all have, I think in some way, I have done a lot to moderate myself, especially as being a pastor. It doesn't work when I get into the courthouse because I'm unmoderated at that point, amen. But I could have a pretty quick tongue, and I was like, I ain't dancing for nobody, right? And it definitely sent shockwaves that you don't need to be messing with me like that. Now, I made the mistake because I shared it with my mother, right? And so her response was, "Do I need to come up there?" But she said it like when we was in grammar school. "Do I need to come up there? Do I need to come up there?" Right. So my thoughts were, there's a lot of firepower on this base with these ships, with these bombs, and these officers with these guns, and I just see my mother with no ID walking through trying to find who the culprits are. Right. But it was an indication that no matter where I traveled in the spectrum, she was ready to be there for me. She was ready in whatever aspect to be there for me. Right. Now, when we look at this scripture here, there are points that we need to be able to gather, and then we'll be able to get you, on your way here. But you have to be able to understand the significance of here Christ in this first miracle, yet his mother is here in the place. And she takes an active role in the miracle. Now, get this, just from a history point now. His mother has had a tough time just with the birth of her son. That's right. Right. Now, she's compiled with the inability at times she couldn't find him because he would be off teaching in the temple. Right. Now, she was well aware now because she carried him, she raised him, she knew him, she was aware of his brilliance and the potential, and she knew of his calling. Yet she still felt the need to accompany him. Right. The Bible doesn't give us no indication that Mary was aware of what would occur at the wedding. But we know generally that a mother is always ready to go into action when it comes to her child. Right. Now she found a way still to be present. Now, the indication here that one of the early points that we have to take away, especially mothers, is that mothering does not involve an on or off switch. Sure it doesn't. Right. It doesn't matter. There are circumstances that may be inconvenient, places where you may want to go, but motherhood calls you into an action that you didn't even see before. Right. And it's times in which, again, a mother wants to enjoy her peace because these kids will rock her world. Talk to me, somebody. I mean, when we see the young, when they have the young babies, we like, enjoy it now, girl. Because the first step is when they start talking and when they start walking, and get ready for the rest of the journey because you got to be on a wild ride. Now, Christ, like in each circumstances, right, the mothering, the mothering would be available for him, right? The clear understanding is that her responsibilities are not abandoned because of an age or circumstance. So as powerful as Christ is, right, the mother still felt the responsibility to be available for him. Right. So no matter what he had accomplished, right, the mother was there. Right. Now, keep this in mind now. The first miracle, she was there. And then at the very end of his death, she was there. Right. So she didn't have an on-off switch. Right. So we can see this, that there is always an involvement, whether she was physically or spiritually present. She knew that she had to be there for her child. Right. Now, this point here is this. Now you gotta go to this here. Mothering involves a challenge for children to be greater. Okay. Now, this scripture indicates here. Now, keep in mind now, Christ did not volunteer his services at this wedding. His mama did. Amen. I saw my mother in this. I would come home, I got speeches, I'm like, what's this? Oh, I volunteered you for this event. Amen. And church was a great place because I was sitting there quiet, and then she would say, my son can do it. Right. He can get up there and he can do it. Right. So his response is, look, not, this ain't my time yet. But hers is, yes it is. You're going to do this, right? Now, she was aware because she was comfortable and confident in the power within the child whom she cared for and was with. The mother knew the depth of her child and would not let a moment pass that could overtake his or her confidence. He can do it. Right. I believe that he can do it. I know what he can do. I know where he has been. I will push him into the responsibility because he'll be ready for it. Right. I will not back out of the potential that he could accomplish in this first miracle. Right. Now that's mothering, right? Okay. It's the ability to place a child into a challenging circumstance with the belief that they can do it. Right? Give her the test, she can do it. Give her the job, she can do it. Give her the speech, she can do it. She can say it, right? Give her the opportunity, he will excel in it. Right. Even with the failures of the child, the mother still recognizes the potential of what the child can do. Right. That's it. In fact, a mother goes into action even more so with the failure. Because she knows she's got to get in there and make that child realize just how great that child can be. Right. Now that point is key. And that's why we always say that it's bigger. Look, it's bigger than just having birthed the child. Right. Because there's some mothers that, I'm just reading an article of a birthed a child and then left the child in a garbage can or something like that. Okay? Right. It's been some stepmothers or foster mothers who have been more of a mother to that child than a birth mother ever was. Right? There's been some aunties and some grandmothers that thought that their tour of duty was over. Then here come the child at the doorstep. What's they gonna do? They have to spring back into action. Right? Because it's about the child. Right, come on. Look, finally, she said this. Look, not only does she volunteer, not only does she believe, not only is she present in his life, but she tells the other people to do what he say do. Okay. Right. So she sets him up for success by giving him the resources necessary to make it possible. Right. Look, the mother, she's not just present, not just with, but she has action behind the declaration. Look, I'm not telling you, I'm not saying he can just do it, but I'm going to be there and help him with the resources so he can make it through. Keep in mind now, Christ didn't say, look, all of y'all help me. That's his mama doing the talking. Do whatever he say. She don't ask, she don't say, okay, let me interview everybody. Do whatever he say. And they do it, right? Because look, it ain't nothing like a mother that's focused. You ain't gonna tell her no. Amen? I give this story. I used to coach Little League baseball, and I would get these parents who be like, look, when is look, my son, he better play soon. Or it's gonna be some fireworks up in this thing real quick. Right? She's there as an advocate for the child. Amen. Probably could have cared less about the game, could care less whether he go professional. I mean, talking about, it's baseball and yelling out, come on, go ahead and hit a touchdown, son. Come on, somebody. A mother don't know the details, she don't care. She just saying, I'm praying and he gonna do something good, or it's gonna be some fireworks going on up in here. Yes, it should bring down the hammer. I don't care how bad he is, I don't care how good he is, he playing, you better teach him something. Okay? Right. It's time, especially in those times of sports, or it's times when you know, look, when the child is just messing up completely, there's one voice that child can rely on. Amen. The mother. Go ahead and sing that song, baby. It don't matter that you're not singing it right. I'm not talking about me, amen. But the mother here, right, she recognizes that Christ is the king. That's right. But she's still giving the orders. That's the power of what his mother is, what she's doing. But that's the power that you have for being a mother. Amen. This interaction here are indications how you have to continue to interact with that child. Now, I know the difficulties can be there. I know. And even until, you're advocating even until that child's death. If that child dies before you, you're advocating all the way up. And then even after their death, because now you're advocating for the memory of that child. There's no on and off switch that occurred. Once a mother, always a mother. Hear me on this. Look, then we'll let you go here, and we want to pray with these mothers. Look, I was at the playground yesterday, and this, when we were coming up, we had these things called the monkey balls, right? There were these metal pipes that you climb up on, you slip and fall, and it will bust your head real quick. And I'm so glad they got better at these. Now they got these big ropes you climb up, and you climb all the way up to the top, and you're climbing up, and then you walk across, and you're walking across, and then you slide down the slide. And so it is a huge experience to be able to see. I watched this mother because the child was skeptical, right? Because the maze and the ropes looked so great, right? So she helped the child up, right? Now, there was only so far that she could go, right? To where he had to begin to climb for himself. This was the thing, though. In the whole maze of climbing, she never took her eyes off of him. So if the child moved over to this side climbing, she moved over there, just in case he falls, she could catch him. Then the child would move over to this side, in case he falls, she would catch him. Right? So wherever the child moved in that whole thing there, she was there. She was always there. And had joy as she met him when he slid down that slide. Who was there? It was the mother. she caught him as he slid down the slide. That's motherhood. She's always there. You may not be touching. You may have to push a little bit. You may have to follow. You may have to stay there. But you're still there. You can't walk away from the maze of the ropes and the challenges and the challenges. And the thing is that he had got to the point where she couldn't take it away from him. He had to figure it out on his own. But she was still there. Through every part of it, she was still there. Oh, a mother should be encouraged, especially by this scripture here, that through every part of the struggle, you're there. It may be a late night phone call just for encouragement. Or it may be the comfort of my mother saying, do I need to come up there? But that's a part of it. But it's also that part to be celebrated. This mother, entire life, from when this boy was born all the way to when he died, she was always there. And that's the challenge for you, to take comfort in and to always be there. Come on, let's praise God for his holy word.